Welcome, FamilyAffaires.com expert contributor, Dr. Dan Gottlieb.
Hey there, thank you.
Dr. Dan, I was recently having a conversation with a friend of mine who's going through a bit of an anxious period, I'm going to say. And we were talking about anxiety and how so many times what we're anxious about, we don't realize it until later on, until we've been to the therapist or until time has passed or we've hit our head up against a wall. So many times people will blame their spouses, they'll blame their kids, they'll blame the dog, they'll blame the weather. But really, it's so difficult to really pinpoint what the root cause is of the real anxiety. So I'd like to ask for your help today in explaining to our audience how it is that we can determine what is making us anxious without spending 20 years on someone's couch, a therapist.
Yeah. First of all, well, the treatment for anxiety, you should know, is probably the most effective, efficient of all therapies we have. Tried and tested, and it's fairly short term. So this is for anxiety disorders, not the normal neurotic anxiety.
Normal neurotic?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right, like the rest of us.
Right.
But let me say this: anxiety is a source of information. So when we experience anxiety, you have to look at the emotion and see if it carries with it information that's valuable to us. You wake up in the middle of the night, you realize you haven't paid your health insurance bill. That's valuable information, right? 99% of the anxiety we feel is worthless. It's ruminations inside our head. So you want to look at the cause? It's your health insurance bill, or it's, the things that are obvious. But if you've got anxiety about your child not passing a test, that's the kind of thing that keeps you up at night, then you need to examine your anxiety because you're suffering here. And the anxiety needs to be addressed. And it's not worth it looking for a cause. 99% of the time we suffer because we want the moment we're in to be different.
So you're saying to pay attention to what you think is making you anxious, because that's probably what's making you anxious?
No, I'm not saying that at all. If something jumps up at you when you feel anxious, right? If
right.
It's your health insurance. If there's something that needs to be addressed urgently.
Okay, address it.
Because
that's it.
It needs to be dealt with. It's valuable information.
Okay.
But what I want you to do, instead of wasting all your time and energy looking for causes, I'll tell you what the cause is for that anxiety. It's the wiring in your brain. It's your limbic system is hyperreactive, the fight or flight response in your brain. It's not being mediated by the prefrontal cortex, which is the part of the brain that says, whoa, wait a minute, let's take a look at this. It's not that worrisome. So it's not being mediated. And what happens is neurons that fire together wire together. So the more anxious we get, the more hyperactive that system gets, the more hyperactive it gets. So as Tamar Chansky, a local psychologist who specializes in anxiety, she says when it gets to be that way, it feels like you're stepping over a cliff
Right.
when you're really stepping off a curb.
Okay.
So look for the cause. You know, we do that. We do that when something goes wrong with our body or something, or our house makes a funny noise. We gotta find the cause. But with ongoing chronic anxiety, no, don't waste all that energy looking for the cause. Now, sometimes the cause is you're living a lifestyle that doesn't work for you. Or the cause is you're angry about something ongoing and you're not good with anger, so it turns to anxiety.
Okay. You don't want to sit with the anger and you don't want to feel it.
Right. So you need to look at your life, the big picture. But I think first, you've got to be able to manage the anxiety better and not get lost in it. Because when you get lost in that emotion and your mind is ruminating, you're not thinking clearly about your life. And the hard work is to take a big look at your life and how's it going for you. And sometimes you'll see that your life isn't going the way you want it, and sometimes you'll see your life looks pretty good. It's just your monkey mind, as they say in Buddhism.
That's great.
Yeah.
So now we can all deal with our anxiety much better.
Well, look, anxiety is so terribly painful. It's the most painful emotion. And what I ask people to do is take a step back when you feel anxiety and just watch yourself feel the anxiety. See what it's like. See where you feel it in your body. Watch your own mind as it races around. Almost like you're an observer of yourself.
From the outside in.
And you're much likely to get lost in the anxiety if you're watching it from the outside.
Wonderful advice. Thank you, Dr. Dan.
Good being with you again.
Same here.